happy June 1st. Today is a new color combo that has been posted on the Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artist page. The colors this month are indigo or blue color, green, and yellow. So I am using my golden paints to get started. I have just some blue that I mixed with a little bit of white. You can use white, black, and a metallic as well in the color combo. And I love these colors as they do blend nicely together. And you can't make mud with these colors because they all work well together. I went out in my yard and I was pruning my Bougainvillea and my Crepe Myrtle trees, and I got these leaves that I wanted to gel print with. They're nice and soft. It's harder to do this when they're crispy leaves, so it's nice when they're really soft like this. I'm just laying them in with the vein side facing down. I think you get a better impression versus the other way, but I guess you could do it either way. I don't know if it really matters. I have a little bit of tissue paper that I'm going to use to just remove the paint in between those leaves, and as I was working, I end up liking the print that I create on this tissue paper because I put a few layers on top of it. So this turns out being one of my prints that I really liked. Tissue paper is nice because it gets in between the little details, and you can see where you've removed the paint, and on a regular piece of paper it's harder to see if you gave the right amount of pressure. Then I'll just carefully remove the leaves. You can see they have this really great design that they leave behind. I realized there was a lot of wet paint still left on these leaves, so I thought I'd try brayering the paint back onto the jelly plate, and it did work. So it gives a few more presses by putting that extra paint back onto the gel plate. Plus it fills in the areas that I didn't have enough leaves for. The Crepe Myrtle leaves didn't hold the paint as well as the Bougainvillea leaves, but they're also a lot smaller and a little more firm. Maybe that makes a difference. Today is my mom's birthday, June 1st, so shout out to my mom. Happy birthday. I do like how these second generation leaf prints are looking. They're just a lighter version of the first print. Once that layer dried, I went in with some of this gilded alloy. It's a alcohol ink, and I put some blending solution over each of the dots. I'm just blowing out the ink. I just wanted a little bit of the metallic in this one, but I didn't go all over. Now I'm going to go in with my green, and I'll add a little bit of white to this also. And I'm just taking the same leaves, putting them down the same way I did the first time, just putting them in different areas. trying to make it so that when I pull this up, there'll be some green over those white areas. And you can see right away where the green is a little bit different than the design with the blue. I'm doing this real time. I don't leave it on very long because there was already paint from the blue. The green didn't pull up as clean as the first round, just because the paint makes it more of a shiny surface, and that tissue paper surface is what really pulls up that every single layer. But I was okay with there being another layer on there, or some of the paint left behind. I'm going to do the same thing here, where I take my leaves and just press the extra paint back onto the jelly plate. And this time each of these leaves have a little bit of that blue and the green, so they both picked up. Now I'll go in with my yellow, and I'll do a little bit of white on top of that as well. And you can see off to the side where my brayer off sheet is. I'm still using that same magazine that I've been using for several print sessions now. And this time I put this rose texture. It's a stencil by PM Artist Studio. The designer is Darcy, and the name of this stencil is Roses Always and Forever. I'm doing my third layer now, and this is the final layer I will do on this tissue paper. I did put those leaves on again in a way that I could pull some of the yellow through the white part of the leaves. Just trying to fill in that background a little bit more, but I'm okay if there's some white spaces. And you can see this one has all the 3 layers on it, and you can see some of the gold showing through on some of those leaves. It just has a really interesting texture to it, the way the leaves kind of blend onto that page. It just looks really cool. And I do like the white space. Normally I like to fill it in all the way, but this time I was okay with having that white area. Plus with tissue paper, if you put it over, say, another texture design, it will show that texture and design through if you have it on the white part. So I think it will make a really cool background for something. Next I went in with some of my mica powders. These are the Josie Lewis Bria Reese mica powders, and they have really fun colors. There's also like some purples and pinks, orange, a nice orange. So this has a yellow, a blue, and a green. And I think these colors go with what the theme of the June color combo is. I'm doing a little bit of the yellow just around where some of the leaves are, and then finishing it out with the green around the rest of the leaves. The blue, I will focus that around the leaves and make that be more like the sky. These are very vibrant on the jelly plate. Perfect pearls would work as well. I just didn't have these exact colors in the perfect pearls. My blue is a little more of like an aqua or turquoise blue, and then my green is more of a soft green, and my yellow is more of like a gold on my perfect pearl colors. So if you have them, whatever mica powders you have, they could pretty much all work for this technique. Next, I'm going to go in with my matte black paint. This is my Winsor & Newton Mars Black. It's nice to do black over the pearl powders. The black really makes those pearls pop. I always try to make sure I focus on my corners, pressing in just a little bit extra around the corners and the edges. Those are the areas that tend to not pull up for me if I don't focus on them when the paint is still wet. I let that dry for quite a while, maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and then I removed that one. And you can see this one pulled up all of that color, and it has so much variation in how this looks. It looks really cool, especially when I tilt it. Then the yellow really stands out from the paint, but then in the light you can see the shine from the powders. It's just a really fun print. Turned out really cool. It definitely has those 3 colors very prominent in this print, so I love this one. Another idea I had for this color combo, it kind of reminded me limes are green, lemons are yellow, and blue sky or blue background. So that's what I wanted to do for my next print. I cut these lemon pieces just from an SVG that I had, and it was from SVG Cuts. Just one of her, Mary is the designer, and she just has this cool little lemon file, and it had the kind of like the rind part. It has the other part as well, but I only cut out the rind, and I just duplicated it on my program and then printed it on, cut it out on my cutting machine, and I put tape on the background because I wanted to stay together. It was going to be a lot more work or more time consuming to try to put each of these pieces on the gel print or the jelly plate when the paint was still wet, and I was afraid the paint was going to dry before I could get that all down. So I decided to just keep it all taped and use that as my texture. For my metallic on this one, I'm going to use some copper. This is from Amsterdam. And I'm just going to put down a nice light layer of paint, and then I'll remove those lemons or limes with this first layer. Now this is the first time I'm using this stencil. It's paper, just Neenah cardstock, 140 pound. So it will remove almost all of that paint. The only paint that will be remaining is just where the cut lines are. It's going to be very faint. And because it was so light and a little bit difficult to see, after I let that dry, I went back in with my black paint, and I just wanted to do one more layer with the black, and I'll remove the paint on this one as well. You can see I didn't use a lot of black, and that was okay, just because I wanted almost like an outline, and the black was going to help you see the outline a lot better than the copper color. And I was able to pick those little pieces off and just put them right back into the stencil. So now that that layer has dried, I have this really thin brush, and then I have a little small round brush. Those are the 2 brushes I'm going to use to apply my powders. This is a perfect pearl powder, the actual pearl color in white. So I'm just going to show you kind of slowly at first, and then I'll speed this up. But I'm taking this kind of like thin brush and just kind of brushing in all the little rind areas just from the center out to the rind, but I'm not actually going around the circle. That was going to be a little bit too tedious, and I don't think that this brush was going to be able to go around the circle part, so I just focused on the rind part that almost looks like a star. And then I will go in and kind of alternate my limes and lemons. So I just start from the center and swirl until I fill in the entire circle. Then I'll do the same for the green ones. For the blue, instead of blending it out, I wanted some of the background to show through on my final layer. So I decided to just kind of tap the blue with, just varying amounts of that powder. And then I'm going to put the white over the top of it, and that white will blend out some of those blue little marks. Some of them will stay a little more solid looking, and others will just look like kind of like a smear, but I just wanted a little bit of the blue color, but I didn't want to overwhelm with only the powders. So this one I stepped away, and I think I let this one dry for about an hour. So it was really dry by the time I pulled this print. The longer you let it sit on your jelly plate, the stickier it kind of feels. Plus, that's usually a sign, if it's really sticky, that you probably have to put some oil on it. I use baby oil, but you can use mineral oil. And so this one turned out really cool. So you can see the little bits of copper, and the black really helps kind of define those lemon and lime circles, and just gave that nice little edge. It looks kind of grungy. The blue isn't overwhelming, but it's definitely there. So I really love how this print turned out. I was very happy with that. And then for my last set of prints here, I wanted to try my hand at the magazine transfer. This one, I lost some footage here, but I was able to pull up this cool print. This is just a flower magazine that I have, and I got this magazine from Dollar Tree. I think it's called like Container Gardening or something. Some really great colorful pictures are in there. So if you're junk journal or mixed media and you like to use magazine for like pops of color, that the magazines at Dollar Tree, they're really colorful and vibrant, and they have some pretty interesting, like, unique choices. Plus they're $1.25, so I don't mind if I mess them up. So that's what I was able to use for this one. Now I have the magazine that I've been brayering off on the side. That magazine is very shiny, like all the pages. I don't know if they have just like some kind of a coating on them, but they won't transfer for me. Anyway, I haven't gotten them to transfer. I don't know if I'm not leaving them on long enough because it's so shiny. I might have to play around with that. But this one has a more matte feel to these pages, and this one did transfer better. And so I used the 3 colors and just did an ombre on these. You can see some of that powder is showing through on the black area that was left over from the limes and the lemons. So then I tried one more. This was my other, so this is from that same magazine, just has all these bright colors of garden pictures and flowers. Just really like the colors there. Now I'm ruining it by, putting it on my gel plate, but just trying new things here. So I'll keep this other side because I may cut these little pictures out and use them in a project for something. This transfer process works best with black and white, or very, very like a lot of contrast in the image. This one didn't have a lot of contrast, but you can see the arch and kind of like a little bit of the walkway. So I went ahead and just stuck with that. Instead of my golden paints, this time I'm using really cheap craft paints. I think 2 of them are Craft Smart and 1 of them is Anita's. And just seeing if the colors, because the golden paints are very vibrant and these are a little more muted. So I just wanted to try the muted colors because looking back at the color combo, they were not quite as bright as those golden paints were coming out. So I just wanted to do one more with just these just toned down colors. And here we go. This is the print here. Not much detail going on, but I kind of like it. It's a little mysterious. You can definitely use this in some kind of a tag or a card and kind of put what might be coming through the arch there. So here are the prints that I made for this color combo series, and I think my favorite is actually these lemons and limes. I just love that grunginess to them. They pop with shininess, although it is a toss-up because I really love this pearly one as well that had all the pearls on it. Yeah, so these were really fun prints, and I do love these colors. They are very bright and happy colors, so I loved how these turned out. I hope you enjoy them too. My husband loved them as well, so it was a fun color combo. The blue in here is really nice, and it goes well with those other 2 colors. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed watching, and I hope it inspired you to give the color combo a try. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here, and happy crafting.